Hello all, welcome back to the studio. This video is going to cover the use of our manual egg beater style drill. We'll also take a look at how you're going to use the drill bits that go along with it and the screwdriver. I'm going to start off with this long shot and then I'm just going to drag the camera right over here so that you can see the work in front of us. So again, might make somebody seasick. But I just want to make sure you can see the work up close. So once again, as usual, going to take a moment and just really clamp down the board that I want to work on. You know me, I'm going to do that every time, and I'm going to ask you to do the same. You don't want to try to drill a hole in a board that's not nice and stable. So there we go, nice and secure, ready to go. Let me sort of pull the camera over a little bit closer and situate it so that we have a really good view of our workspace, so that it makes a little bit more sense as we start to do our drill tutorial. So here we are. Let me first lay the drill out here for you to see. It's a really simple mechanism. Essentially, there is, let's see where there is a gear. See if you can see it. See if I can get it situated. Having a hard time viewing this small, tiny screen. Anyway, there's a gear right back up in here that is actually connected to this larger gear. And as I turn it, it spins the sort of chuck on my drill, okay? So this is the part of the mechanism that spins the entire sort of piston here. This part of the mechanism is designed, this is the chuck, this is designed for holding our drill bit. Now in order to sort of tighten and loosen this, you have to use what's called a chuck key, okay? This little chuck key tool allows you to sort of like you insert it into the hole that you find right here, and what it does is it aligns the little gears that are actually on the end. Let me see if I can get that better. Okay, it allows you to align the little gears that are situated on the chuck key, and then as you sort of turn counterclockwise or clockwise, it tightens or loosens. So once I get it loose, I can spin it loose to a greater degree. And when I do that, I can use it and put my drill bits in here and tighten them up. Let me show you what you're going to get for drill bits. Now, a little kit of drill bits came with the drill. I can't speak to their quality, but let's see. Is it taped shut? It probably is. Oh, yeah. Let's get that tape off of there. Okay. Anyway, there's a range of small bits. They're actually arranged in according to metric sizes, and there's some really tiny ones in here. So make sure you have the entire set accounted for. There might actually, oh no, there's the last one. It looks to me like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bits in here with a wild range of sizes. So just look to make sure you have them all. And just for the sake of demonstration, so that it's easiest to see, I'm going to use the largest of the drill bits. Now this is what we would call a twist bit. It's basically got a little flute that spirals or corkscrews down, and as it spins and sort of moves in and digs into the wood, what it also does is it sends those little sort of shavings that it's removing up through the flute and then out of the hole. That helps to kind of clear the hole as the drill continues to sort of dig in. So the way that we install this is we stick the drill, and I like to just, at least for this beginning part, seat it all the way to the back of the chuck. And then you're going to spin the chuck looking for which direction tightens these little teeth. You will see that the drill has 3 teeth. And these little sort of like, these little teeth, like the teeth on a, like a, I don't know, like a sea urchin or a sea star come together and they grasp that bit, and then you use your chuck key like this to come in and tighten it up. Give it a good firm tightening. Don't go bananas or you might break something, okay? But that's how you lock it in place. Now it's not going anywhere, all right? So you're all set to actually now drill a hole. Once again, please, please, please keep careful track of this chuck key. If we lose this, we can't tighten up the drill. We need to make sure these are kept carefully, that we're keeping careful track of these. We also want to make sure that we're keeping careful track of the drill bits, including what we call a countersink bit, which you'll be using, and we also included a 1/4 inch bit as well. Okay, so we're going to start with this drill bit that came in the kit, and all we're going to do is set ourselves up, and I'm just choosing a spot randomly. You'll have to figure out where you want to do a hole or make a hole, and I'm going to just move the camera a little bit up like that so you can see the entire action. And what you can see, maybe a little bit more, is that I'm actually holding the back of the drill, the handle of the drill here, with my less dominant hand. For me, that's my left hand. And my right hand is going to do the cranking. And if I go clockwise, the drill's going to dig in. If I go counterclockwise, it's going to drill itself back out. Okay? So what I want you to do is, one, just get a feel for it. Now, this is not a super robust tool, once again. So you have to be somewhat careful. As you drill, don't apply intense, incredible pressure. If you do, the probability is that you're going to strip something, or you're going to derail one of these gears that sort of keeps the chuck moving. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to gently, I'm not going to apply a lot of pressure, but I'm going to start the drilling process. Now, I don't want to apply, again, like I said, too much pressure, or I run the risk of compromising some component of this tool. Now, I've already gone in considerably, okay? Actually, what I can do, if I blow away that material, is I can make a mark somewhere on that bit, okay? And then I'll just back my way out. So I'm just going to go first a little forward and then reverse. And then let's see, yes, already what I've done, I'm hoping it's visible, there's a little black mark on my bit. There we go. Little black mark on my bit. I've already gone in probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch. So pretty quick hole. I've already gone in pretty deeply in relatively short order. The thing to just remember is that you can get quite a bit of use out of coming backwards and forward. Now, if you want to bore out the hole, you go in, keep going forward, and then pull it out while it's moving. You can go back in and do that again, and then pull it out while it's moving. And you can see we've dug a nice, clean little hole. Now, I'm just going to do that one more time, and I'm going to really zoom in so you can see this happen. Okay, here we go. Well, let's get right in there. Okay, there's where our hole is. I'm going to set myself up, gently start my turning. Okay, here we go. Now, sometimes it helps to kind of just keep turning and back out of the hole just to clear any material that was stuck in there. You can actually see the wood stuck in the flute. Okay, and it's actually, I can feel the flute is hot. There's a lot of friction that gets generated there. So I'll just keep drilling. There we go. And quite quickly, I am able to dig a hole, and you can see it based on the sort of wood that's stuck in the fluting. You can see that we've done a pretty good job of burrowing. I hope that's focusing. Can't tell. Maybe. We've done a pretty good job of burrowing into that board almost all the way through. So a simple act. Now, Again, just don't overdo it. Don't sort of like push the drill beyond its limits. Take it easy. If it feels like you're working too hard, then please back off. Now, once again, I'm gonna remove this bit. I'm just gonna put my chuck back in there, and I'm gonna hold the handle, by the way. If I sort of turn the chuck while it's tight, let me tighten it back up, okay? So if I turn this, well, no, it's not true. I can actually loosen it, no problem, with the handle loose, without my finger on the handle. I'm gonna pull out that bit, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extract one of these bits that are kind of on the tiny side. And we're gonna use one of those, because they are really teeny. And I'm not sure what you would use these tiny bits for, but the smallest one in this kit is really, really little. I'm wondering if we're seeing that. It is so tiny relative to my hand. I hope I don't know if we're getting focus or not. I hope so. Anyway, it's really tiny. Hopefully we're getting some focus on that. Can't tell with my glasses. Anyway, you will see that as I work to put it in the tool, and again, I'm turning clockwise until those 3 teeth, and I won't be able to push this one all the way back because the bit is so small. I'm going to lock it in just like that, and then hand tight, and then I'm going to take my tool and just finish it up, tighten it up. Now with this bit, you have to be even more delicate, okay? Because if I flex this bit while I'm drilling, there's a high probability that I'm going to break it. So I have to be super delicate. Oh, and look at that. I was concerned that that might happen without almost any kind of pressure, just the pressure of the weight of the tool as I was spinning. That bit actually broke. So I'm going to discourage you from using the tiniest of those bits, okay? Try to focus on the larger ones. So that's an interesting and useful lesson. I don't know that those small bits are going to be particularly useful. If you do try them, be sure that you're being very careful. Now, what we can also do is throw in the biggest of our bits. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen up our tool. And I'm going to insert the 1/4-inch bit, okay? And that one actually seats all the way back and then still sticks out pretty far. And then I'm going to lock it in with my chuck key. So I'm going to spin the chuck until I get it. And now this one is going to be a slightly different matter. As long as this bit is relatively sharp, it should go in fine. But we have to take our time. These bigger bits really sort of require some work to get them to dig in. You can see, I can feel the resistance, and I can feel the whole drill bit kind of dancing around as I cut. And you can see all of the material that it's burrowing out. I can blow it away and continue my drilling. And in a couple seconds, I can drill all the way through, but I want you to take great care because the potential of damaging the tool with such a large bit is particularly high. So I actually loosened the chuck while I was doing, no I didn't, okay. So we'll just go forward and then backwards. And I just did a hole that's about that deep, okay? I just dug a hole that's about that deep. So there's your 1/4-inch bit. It will work. You have to sort of take your time. Please do not rush. Do not force the bit to work more quickly than it needs to. Now the last bit I'm going to throw in there is our countersink bit. And let me show you what that means, what that's about. I'm going to tighten that up. I'm going to back off just a little so we can see a little bit more of the work area. What we're going to do here is we're going to use this bit to drill holes that we will then use the screw through. So in other words, let's say I want to attach the board here that's on top to our work surface or to another board. So I want to screw two boards together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill first with this bit. And what you're going to see is that the tip of this bit, or I shouldn't say the tip because this is the tip, but this part of the bit has what we call a countersink. What it means is it actually, once you get down to the base of this bit, it's got this cutting edge that digs out a hole that's cone-shaped that accommodates the cone-shaped head of a screw, okay? So this is actually designed as a pilot bit for a screw, okay? So the screw actually goes into the hole that is drilled by that drill bit. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to go ahead and set ourselves up to drill our hole and just take my time. This bit is tapered, which is nice. It means it goes in kind of easily. And I'm every once in a while going to come in there and clear my hole. I'm going to keep going. We're going to see how this countersink works. And we have to go slow. I'm doing a little at a time, making sure I'm emptying out the hole that I'm drilling. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through both boards until I bury it right up to the you know, about a 1/4 inch into the countersink part of the bit, which might be a little tricky. We're going to learn that soon enough. Okay, so now I'm going to keep going. I want to back off. Whoops. Pretty tough. We want to go slow. I'm trying to go too fast. I'll take it easy. Lesson for the teacher. Go a little slower. Let the bit do the work. Pull it back out. Clear any material. Keep working. We're going through 2 pieces of wood, so I want to just kind of keep it working, pull it back out, clear it. You'll get more and more accustomed to this as you work. It's not instant by any means. And what we're going to start to do now is we're going to start to sort of dig in, and here I'm going to actually zoom into our work. We're going to dig in and create what we call a countersink. We're going to make a little spot, okay, where the head of the screw burrows into the wood a little bit and seats itself nice and flat. So if you look, we're starting, hopefully you can see it, we're starting to get a little sort of like area that's got a nice shape for capturing the head of the screw. So I'm just going to work it, try to get the most out of that countersink. And you can see, like if I put the screw next to it, it's made kind of this little crater that's roughly the diameter of the screw. I'm going to go just a little bit more, dig it just a tiny bit deeper. Here we go. Dig that countersink hole a little deeper. Now the screws that we use here are called drywall screws, and they're actually what we refer to as a number 6 drywall screw. So that's the thickness of the screw. Now you can see the screw is threaded, and the idea here is that if we drive that screw using this particular style of head, which we call a Phillips head. So here's the screwdriver that we'll be using, and that's what the head looks like. This particular screwdriver is a little crazy and long. I didn't think to bring one of the ones with me that you'll be getting in your kit. But the bottom line is this is the type of screw tip that we'll be using. This is what we call a number 2 Phillips, and that's what fits. That's what fits this type of drywall screw. This drywall screw is 1 5/8 inches long, so it'll bind the 2 pieces of wood together perfectly. And then I just want to point out that there are different size Phillips heads. So here, one of them's magnetized, so it's trying to grab the other one. What we have here is one that's a number 2 and one that's a number 1. So the number 1 Phillips head is for a smaller screw. We're using the number 2 Phillips head, okay? Now, another option that comes up sometimes with screws is this, which is a flat head, but we won't be driving any flathead screws unless you buy some for yourself. All right? So what I'm going to do now that I've gone ahead and I've drilled my pilot hole. So that's what we call a pilot hole. We're using this particular bit to drill a pilot hole. I'm going to go ahead and just screw in that. I'm going to go ahead and screw in using my screwdriver that screw. And because I made a pilot hole, it's really easy. That bit is designed to produce a hole that's the size of the inside of the shaft. So if you look really closely, you can see that the threads extend beyond the core of the screw a little bit. That sort of like core is about the size of the drill bit that we use to drill the hole. So now I'm just going to tighten it all the way until it's perfectly and flush, seated in a flush way. Okay? So in other words, there's no edge sticking up on that screw. Okay? I use the countersink function, this extra little sort of like chisel built on to my drill bit to dig out a hole that's cone shaped to accommodate the sort of like flaring screw head. Okay, so I've been able to just very cleanly and in a flush way mount my screw. It's not sticking up above. It didn't split the wood out on either side. When I try to drive a screw, and I'll do it just off to the side, when I try to drive a screw without piloting a hole, it's a lot more difficult. One, it's a little difficult to get it started. Two, it's hard to get it going straight. Three, it actually distorts the wood because it's actually got to force that wood away from the screw. And this wood is really hard. So it gets more and more difficult until you can't turn it easily anymore. And it actually starts to be a risk of twisting off the head or starting to destroy the little phillips interface that comes here. So never, or I really discourage you from trying to sort of like drive your screws without using the pilot, okay? Without using the pilot drill bit. And you saw it takes a little time. I have to work it a little bit. I have to baby my drill a little, but it's worth it because you get such a fabulous effect from that result. And in fact, I can even take sandpaper and sand over this, and I'm not going to be kind of like hitting the edge of the screw. So I hope that demonstrates effectively the use of those tools, the drill, the chuck key, the drill bits in their various form, the screwdriver, which is a number 2 Phillips, and the type of screws we've provided. Now I have provided screws in various sizes, anything from 1 inch to 1 1/4 to 1 5/8 to 2 inches. So you have a couple of different options, and if you need to, you can always go buy more screws or ask me for additional screws. That should cover the use of our drill. Be very slow and patient with it. Everything with these wood tools is slow and patient. Take your time. Don't rush through the job. You can see they require a little bit of finesse and time and patience. Give them those qualities and you'll get a good result from your work.